question marks on the side of ROCCAT.
Oh yeah, a lot of question marks. But we are finally into Champion Select. So let's take a look at some of these champions that are being banned out. Kindred still remaining 100% ban rate. So is Gangplank. Fiora also being banned away here along with Tam Kench and Lissandra.
The team's ready to go in. Blue may well be the last ban. We'll see. Potentially first pick here for Vitality.
Yeah, Lulu has been banned in every single game so far, so has been residing on the bench. But Olaf will be the final ban, so Lulu is going to remain up. Olaf, we saw Gamsu go ham earlier in the day, and see what that pick can do. Going to keep that one away from Cabashard.
So likely now Cabashard and Nukeduck are arguing. You play Lulu? I don't want to play that. That's boring. I want to carry. So we may actually not
don't
see
mention me, man. All right.
Don't make a sound.
Yeah.
No, here.
Yeah, Nukeduck probably not going to want to play Lulu in this game. But what do they have in terms of priority? Lulu would be the obvious one.
It would be, but you may just have two players here that don't want to play that champion and want to play something else.
Yeah.
See how much the coach can
go and shook. I'm sure it's Bible and jungle. Yeah, there we go.
Has to be locked in pretty much.
Yeah, has to go in, and they can decide where it goes later because it is a fantastic flex.
Yeah. We usually see like Lucian Poppy come out here as a response, Poppy being the blocker to Kalista, blocker to the Corki, and then the Lucian being the strongest AD carry. That is something we could see come out. Maybe Edward hasn't put in much time on the Poppy though, then it's likely that we may even see a Trundle being picked up early for a flex.
Yeah, Trundle's still open. We've seen how strong Trundle is right now. Fantastic into the many tanks that are being played in top lane as well as jungle. Still away all those resistances and just really, really annoying in general. A fantastic pillar placement can also turn the tide of a fight.
Yeah, suits Freddy's playstyle too. We are on 6.1 though, so the pillar is slightly more expensive mana cost wise. So you may run out of mana, but different approach here overall from the ROCCAT team.
Yeah, picking up the Corki here for AD carry. Again, it could be mid lane. We've seen it before. Rek'Sai coming in and probably will be in that jungle role. I still want to see some mad plays coming in from Corki using the package. We didn't really see too much from him.
I love the package, dude.
Yeah, it really throws me off with like timers as well, because it's just like, you know, it's gone level 6 and it's just like, oh, Corki's back in my lane.
Yeah, once people are used to the new Corki, which these LCS pro players may very well be, it kind of loses some of its efficiency. We saw earlier in Giants, the second package gets picked up. Ping, 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 get the hell out of there, because if you're not used to it, Corki bases, you expect him to be back in roughly like, what, 40 seconds? He's back in 20, storming into your lane, killing you. So definitely shifts the time windows.
Yeah, and honestly, like the damage you get as well is absurd. It's just like an equalizer. I mean, yes, you have to jump into the enemy team, but then you get the Valkyrie anyway. So still very strong. Looking at the next two pickups coming in from Vitality, instantly locked in here will be Elise and Thresh. So not too much has changed there down in the support role. At least not going to be seeing Poppy from this team.
Yeah.
But Elise once again remaining strong in the jungle.
Thresh being picked up here. Peculiar, I think they. Is this the first Thresh we've seen today? May very well be, because we've seen so much Trundle. Trundle and Poppy both have been 100% pick banned so far, and likely one of them will fall through the gaps right now.
Yeah, we saw it in Elements G2. Yeah, Elements picked that one up, so we have seen it.
We haven't really seen it then.
No. Very true. So looking at the ROCCAT lineup now, 20 seconds remaining. This team's actually taking a lot of time to think about their picks as we get into this champion select. Hovering over the Taric, I've been seeing some epic top Taric cheese recently, Crappo.
Parmesan.
Yeah.
Edward has played Taric on multiple instances in both solo queue and I believe even competitive LCS, so really?
Yes, boys. All right, so Taric has been locked in along with the Rise, but you're more boring than Taric. Let's take a look at this champion. Could be in support, like you mentioned. It was actually picked into Kalista, if memory serves, because you just point and click, and it's like, you can hop away if you want, but I'm still going to stun you.
Yeah, definitely. Taric usually more of a 4 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10 with Rise.
So perfect.
Overall, but I don't know, man. Convince me, Edward. Change my opinion, or Freddy, whoever plays the champion, but in the competitive landscape where there's so many supports viable right now, Taric was not one of them that I was expecting to be played here.
No. Again, could be that top lane cheese, but I'll get into that if that actually happens. And then just waiting on the final two pickups, which will be AD carry, and could be mid lane, could be anywhere actually, because Lulu is still on the board as the flex from Vitality.
Yeah, you're waiting to open that dark corner of your mind where you're stashed away the
My balance, yeah.
Don't let me go there. Tristana and Kennen locked in here, so Tristana AD carry, Thresh support, really strong lane overall. Lulu either top mid with Kennen. Vitality risky though, if they fall behind with this lineup, no tanks, really squishy, they can get snowballed upon, especially if that Taric gets ahead and
oh, man.
picks a target.
Yeah, especially if you hit the dazzle on which is the stun onto Kennen, like he has to either go into his Zhonya's or make a decision, and that's actually really annoying for Kennen because he has to go in, or depending on how he plays, can sit defensive on the Tristana. But we'll see how it goes. As you mentioned, very reliant on doing well and not falling behind it with this composition. One more pick remaining for the ROCCAT lineup. What's it gonna be? Oh, is this a sign of things to come here, Crepo? Hype intensifies.
I'm doing my Sona cosplay, just staying mute for a while. I'm out of answers here.
Oh, I'm so ready. 3 seconds remaining. No. Okay, so it's going to be the Zac lock-in. Seeing Zac coming back into the meta right now, that doesn't mean that Tarek is not going to be top yet.
Well, it's likely going to be Zac top, no? Rek'Sai jungle?
Either way, it's going to be good.
Anyway, it's going to be some Parmesan sprinkled on this champ select overall. The cheese coming out from Freddy. Zac top, haven't seen. Zac really strong in the jungle right now. I'm a big fan of Zac jungle because with limited vision, he can create some really unique gank paths that are almost not counterable. Top lane, we'll see a lot of roams maybe. Freddy push out top or abandon top and go mid. But yeah, interesting to say the least from this new ROCCAT.
Yeah, Freddy was very vocal about wanting to change things up and how he didn't really feel he was doing that well on previous teams, and he's definitely changing up now with Zac top, so we'll see how this works into Kennen as well. We'll have to break that down in a little bit, but I think it'll be quite difficult to do.
Yeah, very magic heavy damage composition. The only really pure physical damage dealer on the side of ROCCAT is the Rek'Sai, since Corki is pretty much mixed 50-50. Maybe they just want to set up for a siege? Not really. Rise doesn't really fit into that. Some zone from the Zac leap, poke from Corki, but then you walk into wave clear from Lulu, so that's not really going to work. I'll just let the game explain this one.
Yeah, it's very much the pick and mix composition here, Crepo, but make sure to join the discussion over on Twitter using those hashtags, hashtag VITwin and hashtag ROCCATwin, as we will be getting into this game, the final game of the day to open up the LCS.
So yeah, this will be the third time we see the Tarek here in recent games. Looking over the screen, here we are. There we are again. Edward played it twice in summer. He's playing it again right now. Looking to boost those Tarek stats up a little bit. Interesting.
Interesting.
With exhaust though.
How interesting is this pause?
A real man would have gone Ignite, but Edward opted for the exhaust.
Yeah, so playing more defensive, I mean, it kind of makes sense here. You want to get time for the Rise to scale up. I don't really know where the power spikes are going to come in for the Zac. It seems like more of like a mid-game pick, but just depends on how Freddy builds as well, if he's going to go full AP and be super toxic.
Zac's just a very big nuisance, really, in the late game. His mid-game, his damage spike is definitely in the mid-game when he relies a lot on the base damages and a little bit of the magic penetration he gets. I've seen Zac tops get an early haunting guys with sword magic pen shoes to really get snowball. If not, they can just go tanky and just be incredibly annoying. So Zac has the opportunity here to really cancel out Cabashart's effect in team fights. He can mess with Yarn too. There is a lot of cancel though. If they have plenty of vision or even blue trinkets to scout out where the Zac is leaping from, a Flay interrupts it, a Hex can interrupt it, Wild Growth can interrupt the leap. You have Hjarna's ultimate that can interrupt the leap, so you have plenty of counterplay on the side of Vitality to deal with that Zac. But when everybody's looking at the Zac, that's maybe when Betsy wants to strike and start hard carrying these team fights on the Rise.
Yeah, quick update. Betsy does have some resolution problems with his PC, so just getting that fixed up, and hopefully we can get that going very shortly. But yeah, jumping back into the picks as well, Kennen being picked up back top as well. You can see him going for Doran's Blade, which is very standard just for the auto attack, harass, and lane.
We saw it from Atom earlier, but it didn't really work out, mostly due to the lane swap. His teleports were, yes, they were good, and yes, they forced some summoners, but with Kennen, when you're behind, you need to force some kills, because otherwise the teleport is wasted. It's a pretty much of a shotgun pick in the mid lane. You need to really, one blast, one TP, one chance. If you take it, it's good. If you let it slip, not so much. But Cabashard, he could actually bully that lane. Has to be rough for Zac. I don't really know the way how Zac's ever going to win that lane. Maybe just through sustaining, through the auto attack harass, picking up the blobs over and over, because Cabashard should never really get jumped on, and when he does, he can insta-proc the stun and walk away.
Yeah, but in the top lane at the same time, it's going to be hard to kill the Zac because of his passive, and he just sits underneath turret, and you can't really finish him off. Smite is kind of good if they get in that situation, plus Elise can die fairly easily.
Yeah, and he has to be careful too, because Kennen usually as a pick is very hard to gank. A lot of people avoid the Kennen because of, obviously because of the lightning rush, he can avoid the ganks. But if you look at the gap close potential between Airwalks with his tunnels and then Flash and Burrow, combined with Zac Leap, Cabashard will have to play safely at a reasonable distance.
Okay, we should be unpausing here very soon, but I also want to jump back onto the Tarek pickup because that's a very interesting one coming in here. Picked into the Tristana. I'm just wondering, is the theory that you click Dazzle before she rocket jumps, or what is the idea here? Well, either way, we are getting into game once again, finally. Hopefully no more pauses.
So, for people that haven't played much Tarek, his stun duration, as a crowd chants, just gonna leave some moment there. His stun duration used to scale depending on the travel time of the Dazzle, no longer does. It's only the damage that varies, so it's always the same amount of stun. Usually, you can buffer out of the Dazzle with your stunless jump, so I don't think it doesn't cancel it at all, so Hjarnan should be safe. It just sets up for a very easy Q from Corki in the lane though. That it does. So it facilitates poke. It's lockdown. You can dazzle into snare from Betsy, or dazzle into a tunnel from Aerox, dazzle into a setup from Freddy. So a lot of dazzling plays can be made. But generally, when you walk up to use that spell, you can also just get popped immediately.
Yeah, and instantly that ward cleared away. So Hjarnan will be losing that one. But yeah, again, with Tarek, if he gets on top of you, Kappa, he will be able to do a lot of damage. Actually does way more than you really think he will. With Ultimate and Shatter, it's actually a lot of burst. So combined with Corki, yes, there's a lot of magic damage, but the fact he's got Shred on top of Saphir's Shred is just Shred on top of Shred.
Yeah, but once that ultimate comes online, Hjarnan obviously has self-peel available with his own ultimate, and Kassin can always flay and box, so that's the problem with Tarek. He's very easily kited, and he only has 1 CC. He does stun that Krug incredibly well. Right now, Nuktuk and Betsy fighting in mid lane. So we see a lane swap being initiated here by ROCCAT. Roaming, he does well though. If he can show up in the lane and dazzle, it generally forces him.
Yeah, likewise with Zac as well. A lot of roaming potential. I think Kassin just stole that as well, so that might upset some of the experience that Airwax is going to get here. Freddy, I believe, got some as well, so that is okay. And they will go to the second cap. So not too much disruption from Kassin there.
Yep, we need to see how Vitality's jungle pathing gets affected here. So they take 2 camps while initiating a lane swap. That's very good, honestly, from ROCCAT. So Vitality wasn't really ready for that lane swap. A lot of camps available right now. Whereas if you look at the other side, only Wolves went down, so there's a camp advantage for Vitality, but they can't, for ROCCAT rather, but they can't really use it too much in a double jungling sense because of the experience changes. You really want your jungler to be solo jungling to get the maximum benefit of those camps.
Well, it looks like we're going to get that fast push down in the bottom lane. Kabashada will be joining Hjarnan and Kassin to take this one down. Second minion wave is coming in. Should arrive before that one dies, so they should be able to keep up the damage. And yeah, Tristan's also got E as well, so should be able to chunk that down fairly quickly.
Whereas in the old lane swap meta, you were fine with potentially sending your top laner back to double jungler. I think right now you always want to bounce the wave to your top laner to keep him in the game.
Yeah, and that seems to be what they're doing right here. Bottom lane is dying way faster, but also drawing Airwax up there, so it's going to be a 4-man push coming in from Raka versus the 3 down in bottom lane. Chuck is actually just picking up the skull very early on into this game. These towers should be falling at around the same time. And mid lane doesn't really do anything in lane swap, so just chilling.
I mean, it's good for the Rise. Free farming, he gets harassed a little bit, but obviously when both junglers reveal themselves, it's a lot easier to farm. Shook hasn't revealed himself, so maybe Betsy has to be a little careful. He's pushing up. He has the cleanse available to dodge out of the cocoon though. Hopefully Vitality has spotted that, so they don't set up any crazy flashes to chase after him.
Yep, towers dropping, and did you see, I think Freddy just there got all of the gold just from that tower. It looked like everyone backed off from ROCCAT, so just helping him a little more there. And additionally, the wave is in the right place. That should push towards him. Yeah, that wave is set up.
Honestly, he can get some experience. He's soaking a little bit, not pushing the wave back before basing though, so he still stays there on level 2. Gonna keep track of the experience. Freddy is about 2.5. Kabashard is already level 3 right now, so experience advantage for Kabashard. He did it slightly different, whereas usually you get the wave bounced to you and you freeze it. The evolution of that was actually just into pushing it out because people will react to your freeze and outplaying that way. So Kabashard, small experience lead, and he bases again, and he goes to group top to do the standard lane swap meta right now where both towers on each side fall. Yeah,
already specking into magic resist as well. Looking at the team of ROCCAT, you mentioned the champion select Crepo, so much magic damage on this team. Picking up an early Negatron just to start getting that up will help him a bunch. Hjarnan and Kassin now pushing in this top turret with Shook and Kabashard in tow. But Airwax is coming up, so it will be a 3 versus 4 if we get into this fight. AoE damage coming in from an explosive charge on the tower, and now the push comes in. A little bit of wave clear from Saphir, but Edward doesn't really do much to in this situation. Airwax doesn't really clear either.
Yeah, but there's no dive here coming out ever from Vitality because obviously Freddy still has teleport available. He is now pushing out the bot lane, so ROCCAT with a good 3-man defend on what traditionally used to be an extra tower swap here. They're adapting here, doing a 3-man defend in phase 2 of the lane swap, and that gets Freddy ahead. Cabashard will likely teleport down to the bot lane or walk there right away right now to pick up the massive wave that Freddy's building right now. So nobody really getting punished. I still think Vitality overall will pull ahead of this lane swap, especially if you consider the time that Shuka spent alone compared to AOX.
Looks like the latter here as Cabashard is walking down to that bottom lane, still holding on to that teleport just in case there's a cross-map play. Just holding that up, and plus the wave is slowly pushing towards him, so he doesn't need to get there immediately.
Yeah, and you can see how Thunderlords really makes Lulu mid even better than it used to be. Those short EQ auto trades now actually proc Thunderlords every single time, and makes it hard for Betsy to fight back.
Yeah, still farming away. They're only 4 CS behind his opponent, so he's not doing that badly, and the minion wave is pushing into him, so as soon as that resolves, he should be fairly even, and Betsy should get to the stage in the game he wants to be as Ryze, the machine gun caster, and then yeah, Kasing and Hyun just flipping up, so we're now in Australia lands.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the junglers to make a move right now. Very, very even early game. The only thing we've seen really is pressure exchange. Initially, Betsy was pushing mid. Now Nuketook is keeping him down by pressuring him. What can the junglers achieve with the state of these lanes? Where can they break the mold open and finally get one of their teams ahead?
Yeah, Cabashard right now, not really open to a gank. Top lane, fairly difficult to gank as well. If anything, ROCCAT could maybe head up there with Airwax, but still, the rocket jump and Kasing just being able to flay back is very difficult to gank into. These lanes are fairly just stale in terms of trading and also what the junglers can do. Invade coming in here by Airwax, just getting some deep vision. That's all he can really do right now, try and track the enemy jungle with Tremor Sense and wards. Yeah,
both these teams have an incredibly good mid game with at least one late game insurance on every team. So the late game insurance for Vitality is obviously the protected Tristana composition having blue interest with a lot of peel from Cabashard. Dazzle comes out from Edward, Hjarnan jumps out, that is textbook gameplay. Whereas ROCCAT, their late game insurance is just Betsy, so we need to keep him alive if you're ROCCAT.
Yeah, and right now Betsy is going to take this blue buff, has gone for the tier already, building towards the Kaplas, which is traditionally the core for Ryze, and is on his way towards that. Has been revealed as well as he heads back into the mid lane. Shook coming into the bottom lane now, just seeing if he can get anything off, but doesn't look to be the case.
A sole single clap crowd.
Well, he got the transfer. We've seen before. It doesn't always go well.
Yep, they totally mechanically executed that blue buff. We've seen some failure here.
Well, Nuketook still farming minions.
Yeah, nothing will happen here until the sidestones come out, guys. I know it's a little boring, but that's just the state of the game right now. There's very little counterplay. People are respecting the junglers. Most gankable lanes have gap closers. There's a lot of respect going on. Both of these teams are fine going into the mid game. They're playing the waiting game. So once the sidestones come out, the pink wards come out, and the red trinkets come out, that's when we can see more vision denial, and we can see some plays being made. ROCCAT about to be sieged on though. Vitality sent their top lane duo to the bot lane, joining Cabashard and this massive wave.
Yeah, so Vitality actually trying to open up a gap in the armor here. The bottom lane is being sieged in. Large caster minion wave as well. Airwax is only now arriving into the bottom lane. Good chunk onto the tower, but not going to take it down today, as Betsy is also in a good position to close in if they wanted to. Additionally, with the entire ROCCAT lineup being bot lane, now have to head back. Someone needs to go into the top lane from Vitality, so someone's going to recall, and maybe Hjarnan to pick up that wave.
ROCCAT's pulled ahead, 700 gold overall. That has to come from CS somewhere. It's a 15 CS advantage overall here on the Corki.
Yeah, I wonder how much that will close when that minion wave's taken in the top.
Yeah.
Because that's like 3-4 minion waves there. Airwax actually coming in here, does get the steal off. Shook is taking a bunch of damage, being chased down. And Zephyr coming in with the package as well, jumping along with the Valkyrie, jumps away to the minions, just trying to farm before he goes down. Shook will be the first blood of the game.
Yeah, special delivery into Valkyrie. Zephyr following up. Really good play here, really good use of the package. Maybe the first early game usage of the package that we've seen that really resulted in a game-breaking or game-opening kill, because now he can capture the bottom lane. That tower is under siege, and Freddy can then port back to the top lane. He'll need some assistance though, because we're seeing a 4-man siege being set up again by Vitality. They seem to really like strength in numbers for those sieges.
Yeah, bot lane should be going down here, so small advantage over to ROCCAT additionally with that kill. And see if they can push that into anything else, but it's really interesting because Nuketook was also talking about this lineup from ROCCAT and saying that he actually thinks this lineup is much better than people are really giving them credit for, because even we were looking at this lineup and saying, well, are they the losers of the off-season? Looking at Vitality, looking at H2K, how many good members they picked up. So far, ROCCAT actually in the lead in this game.
You could have argued whether it was worth for Kasing to flash play there, but they obviously didn't know what the backup that was coming, and their goal was a tower, so Freddy essentially just wasted his teleport.
Yeah, he is here for the farm, however, but this is pushing away from him. Edward there as well. And now we should see Vitality backing off. Shock is just in the river, still farming away. Has gone for the Barmy Cinder though. Just looking for the Cinder Hawk build. Before we saw Elise pick up the Rylai's as well. So we'll see if Shock does something similar. Edward now heading down this river. And see the rushes Sightstones as well. Pastor, when should you rush Sightstone, Prepper?
Always.
Always.
In loving memory.
So we see Airworks now coming onto this crab. See if they go for the first dragon as well. Players are typically seeing the first dragon as one of the bigger objectives to take, and then after that, it's very difficult to go for a 5-dragon win.
Yep.
The first one is important because of the percent damage you get from it, but then the rest don't do a whole lot for you.
Yeah,
It's there as an exit objective.
If you can pick it up along the way, you can go for second dragon, and then the third has some value in terms of movement speed, but honestly, dragon has very low priority. The only value is maybe denying your opponent to get his first. Once both teams hit on a first dragon already, there's no value in playing on the dragon. You may as well start sieging. Vision is even more important, or just setting up phase 2, like setting phase 1 of a 2-step play, more important than getting the dragon right now.
Yeah, for sure. Saphir down here, in terms of vision, they were cutting it off just from Edward maybe coming in from the side. And Airworks was thinking of going into the bot lane, but actually doesn't do that. Vitality ahead, 60 to 40%. Still not as big a disparity as I was actually thinking coming into this matchup.
Yeah, but looking at the way ROCCAT's taking this game, Vitality seem to be trying to force a lot of moves. Like, they're constantly grouping and sieging, but ROCCAT is fine, comfortably sitting back and actually getting a gold lead by not breaking where the pressure is being placed by Vitality. And overall, 2,000 gold ahead right now, even with the first blood. First blood only amounts to maybe 600 gold if you take kill and assistance. So, ironically here, or unexpected rather, the better macro gameplay from ROCCAT.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing. It's macro gameplay. There's been no real like skirmishes and who edged ahead in terms of mechanics. It's literally just been on the macro game, and ROCCAT's the one coming out ahead with these players.
And the first Moby boots I think we've seen today on support. Kasing not opting for the boots of swiftness. So he will go down to boots 1 speed in combat.
Yeah, decides not to get Swifty in this one. Kasing coming into the mid lane with Nuke Duck. And just farming away, and I really think you just hit the nail on the head. Both of these teams are looking to get into the mid game here, Crepo. Along with Rise as well, just want to scale up, and as a result, they're quite happy to farm away, and you can see that resulting in the farm in the mid lane. Nuke Duck literally has hit basically every minion, 127 right now to Betsy's 120. Yeah. They have done nothing but farm.
They're playing PvE right now, obviously into the Rise's favor. I mean, getting a little quicker into the mid game is nice, but ROCCAT right now hitting a Triforce spike already on Saphir. He's pushing, and it becomes a game of minion wave control right now, because all the rotations that you could potentially set up for yourself to get a side lane tower and then force people to make mistakes, you can't do because the side lane towers are gone. So it's very weird to play such an early open map. You almost have to go back to the stages of the 4v0 double tower lane swap meta back in, I believe, last year in spring, before we even see such a big map right now. And because you have so little wards, it's so hard to really get the vision game going. So Vitality struggling a little bit in this new meta.
Well, from all the gold and all the farming that's been happening, it means they're getting to item spikes a little bit faster. The Abyssal Scepter has been picked up, that hook going just wide of Edward.
Maybe it's just the zone from Tarek. Maybe that's just it. That's the answer.
Yeah, the threat alone from Tarek engaging on you, man. Vitality just don't want to go for the play. And in top lane, don't get that tower either. Reminder, the package is available for Saphir if he wants to make another play. The first one went actually very well. Take a look at this as well. Herald now being picked up. Don't see that every single game. It's more of an exit objective like Dragon right now. It's like if you take an objective, you can go for Herald, or you get a kill, you can go for Herald if you just have spare time.
In an open split push scenario, it's good to do, because the minions, obviously, they gain more attack speed overall. They look like they get buffed like the Baron buff, but remember, the magic resistance doesn't go up, so using Herald to siege down mid doesn't work, because magic-based wave clearers will still shred them apart. Yeah, attack speed increased by 40%, but no resistances. Additionally, it does give you 10% extra damage. So for a split pusher, it's actually pretty sick, because you can go for those 1v1s and know that you're probably going to win, even in matchups that typically don't win. But in this game, this is going to be buffing a couple minions. Let's see, Saphir, is he going to pick up the package? That's the one question we're asking ourselves here.
Yeah.
Observers to the base.
Track Saphir.
Yep.
Oh,
There we go.
We're off into the top lane. It's a bomb.
I love the fact that you can package and then Valkyrie again. A lot of people forget that. Even though Valkyrie is horribly short right now, many people fail even wall jumps because it's 600 range, I believe it's reduced to. Saphir in the top lane. It actually allows him to push on the tier 2 tower safely because nobody can stop him. He can just choo-choo out of there and get back to the top side of the map. He's basing right now, puts it a big wave in the top lane. That means if somebody from Vitality responds, the rest of the map gets played 5v4. Siege in the bot lane here. We may see a big fight here with the package, with the Zac lead. Keep your eyes on it.
Well, Betsy coming in, Cabashot taking a lot of chunk damage. He doesn't have Zonas just yet, but Yarnan is there to fight him. Alex coming over the wall, has been hooked in by Kasing, joins the rest of his team, but he's getting chunked down by Betsy. And Airwax picks up the kill there. Nukeduk now having to back off into the river, and it's now Vitality on the run. 2 kills go down.
Another setup siege from Vitality where they group up with 4 or 5 members to take a tower, thwarted by ROCCAT. They saw it coming. Saphir based immediately, get a good 2-man package right there. Betsy flying from the side, he took out Cabashot. I believe his cleanse was prematurely, this is why he did not get out of the cannon stunlock, but overall, another kill, another dragon here for ROCCAT, another red buff steal, and maybe even the mid lane tower. ROCCAT playing fantastic.
Yeah, and Betsy's found Nukeduk in the middle lane as well. Will flash away, but gets him with a final overload. Saphir just chiming in there with a couple autos. Betsy's looking down basically by himself, sitting happily on his Rod of Ages. 1-0 over to Betsy.
Jesus. ROCCAT, surprising many people, including myself. I would regret that comment I made in the opening of the game. It's karma.
It is. There's no
second time it happened.
Gonna take a look at that team fight again though, and Cabashot getting completely picked out by Betsy.
Yeah, Cabashot here stuns Betsy. Yeah, cleanse didn't really affect that much. Maybe it wasn't. No, it wasn't already in cooldown. Look at the damage from the package here. Shook's burning. Sing gets out. Airwax flashes after him. 2 kills, I believe, in total. So 2 kills, a dragon, a mid tower, another kill in the mid lane, making it 3. So overall, ROCCAT, getting farther ahead.
Yeah, Cabashot now just kind of wandering around, just losing ground all over the board. If you take a look at the vision control as well by ROCCAT, starting to push into the jungle of Vitality as well.
Should have known though. I trash talked Edward once, this back in Season 2 before LCS even existed, and I got my my behind handed to me. Completely got smashed. Did it again now in the pregame.
The curse, man.
Happened again. TLDR. Shut up, Cripple.
Well, you can take a look at the coaches there, just taking a look at this game, analyzing it from backstage. And this is very much a macro-based game. Like, there's a couple team fights that have happened, but it's all really been about the map movements, about what the players are deciding to do on the board, and how they're reacting to the opposing team.
And every single kill has originated from the new Corki package. I can't forget that. That invade, Airwax finds Shook, Smite steals, that should have just been a steal, but because of the amazing gap close potential that the new Corki Valkyrie, or the buff Valkyrie, gives you, they got a kill right down in the bottom. The package combined with Zac, 2 major leaps there. Set up for some other kills. Now can ROCCAT expand on this? Because ROCCAT as an organization, obviously there's no players remaining and the coaching staff has not entirely changed, so the point doesn't really hold, but we've seen them get ahead, but then do absolutely nothing in the mid game. Have they learned how to snowball their lead, which is very important in this meta game, because today we've seen incredibly short games. 26, 25, 24 minutes with the use of Baron. Can ROCCAT do the same?
We'll have to see in this game. And we were talking about Zac. I'm going to hold that for a second, as there is a siege coming into this mid lane from Vitality, sitting on the equal towers as well. So going to try and take an extra edge here. But talking about the Zac in Champions League, we were like, this is going to be some quality Gouda. But honestly, in this game, he's not building super randomly, picking up AP. He's just going tank. Yeah, so they're adding an extra tank into the line. He's
basically a threat that can always dive in your backline, and he can even do it in full vision. You saw right there, Vitality sieging. Freddy just crouches down, starts pulling his arms back, like, I'm gonna jump, just walk away, and the siege just breaks right there. So if he can start flanking later on, he can wreak havoc. So Sing will have to flay the Zac. If you don't flay or Buster Shot top lane Zac, you will have a whole lot of trouble.
Yep, so Infinity Edge picked up by Yarnan as well, taking a look at the opposing item build. Saphir just going for the Trinity Force, fairly standard. Top lane just going for that Sunfire Cape as well, just to carry on pushing. Yeah,
Sunfire for push, and then pure magic resistance, which means he's aiming to jump on Yarnan. If he's jumping on Yarnan, Yarnan can't deal damage to him. Everybody else will try and get him off Yarnan. That means magic resistance galore, he will not die.
Bot lane, Airwax is actually sieging in here. We'll be backing away. And Edward also pushing up, trying to secure that vision. And just overall, Vitality are losing a lot of ground. You can even see some red wards right in the base gate of the upper base gate from Vitality. They're just getting pushed back all over the board. It just starts getting a little harder for ROCCAT as they start pushing up because the response time from Vitality is easier from lane to lane. But ROCCAT right now, just in a good shape, chipping away at these turrets in each lane.
ROCCAT doesn't have to do anything right now. All they have to do is set up the vision just like they're doing, waiting for Vitality to make a mistake. Later on, they can transition into a Baron, clean the vision there, or get another package for a really quick rotation between lanes. And more importantly, their late game security blanket, the Rise, is 1-0-0, higher farm overall, whereas Hjarnan, the late game for Vitality, is only sitting on an eye edge so far. So ROCCAT very comfortable. The threat alone for a potential dive here from the Taric, man, the zone, breaks open another tower.
Yeah, I really want to see what happens if we do get into a team fight though, because Vitality are specifically itemizing to stop the damage coming in from ROCCAT being heavily AP based. We're now seeing that with the Aegis being picked up, mid lane even with the Athenes as the mana option, and ROCCAT just building more and more damage. So when we actually get into these team fights, which is actually going to prevail? ROCCAT with slightly more gold, you would think in theory, should be able to win out on top in terms of itemization, how the fight's going.
So yeah, right now we see they cleared all the enemy jungle. They cleared their own jungle. Saphir is in base. Oh yeah, there he goes, package.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure he does a global emote and reveals him for a fraction of a second. So Vitality should be aware that more damage is coming their way.
Yeah, map wide Siren. And now coming in to the upper river.
Yeah, and the level 9 trinkets right now, sweepers get
Oh,
ready.
we're ready. Saphir knocking Kasing back. He has to flash away immediately. A Valkyrie back to his own team, but a flash on the knock one to 3 players coming in from Vitality. The Dazzle coming in from Edward, and Freddy is here with a lockup as well. Airwork's trying to get once again another knockup, doesn't quite find it, but everyone is chunked in from Vitality, and ROCCAT is going to be able to set up a siege. Nice in Gland, of course.
Casting is hard, man. I know. Just don't read Twitter. Overall, they're moving back into the Baron area, but there's too many wards still about, and obviously the 20 minutes free home guards you get can actually be very, very nasty if Kabashar can land that teleport. Freddy going back to the mid lane. First package that doesn't result in a kill. A little deep from Saphir. I have to admire his boldness, but a little bit over the top.
Oof, a lot of damage coming in from the poke there, but Saphir does not go down just yet. 0 deaths in this game so far. Previously named Jeebus, showed a lot up in the Challenger series, but has picked up the rapid fire cannon on top of his Triforce. So he's sitting on that 2-item spike. Freddy lucky to get the backside, but Kasing locks him up, and Hjarnan will have to jump away. Freddy gets on top of him with the Let's Bounce, but takes the Lantern to safety. No one will be dropping in this trade.
Questionable use of Freddy's E there. Like, do you really want to jump into the enemy team when you're already behind them? Is it not wiser to save it? Kasing really good hook though. Cancels the E, then plays him backwards. Lantern goes on Hjarnan, so Vitality escaping. Gold lead is still 5,000 for ROCCAT here, and they can soon start looking at their 3rd dragon of the game. No, 1st dragon actually. 2nd.
Counting
is hard. I thought they had 2 already.
Yeah. What comes after 1? Yeah. But yeah, Freddy, kind of weird choice there. Decides to actually charge up the Elastic Slingshot and say, hey guys, I'm immobile, just hook me, and then gets hooked. When he could have just sat there, used Let's Bounce, and then dodged the hook perhaps, but either way, still pushed Vitality back. Got a couple summoners, but it's still only a small summoner lead. Actually not even a lead for ROCCAT, because they utilized a lot to get these plays to happen, so now the ball is kind of in Vitality's court.
Yeah, what worries me more is that ROCCAT is seemingly making plays without a goal. Usually you make a play with an objective in mind, and they're not really setting up the vision for the Baron. Because with their composition, they can make picks into face checks. If you face check into a Zac Taric, you can, it can cost you the game. But the vision isn't being set up around the Baron. They wasted their teleport prematurely. They're not really split pushing, so they're actually allowing Vitality to get back into the game.
Yeah, and as you were saying on the analyst desk as well, ROCCAT doesn't need to do crazy things. They don't need to be SKT. They can go with the simple strategies and execute it well. Even talking about the lane swaps, which we saw here, and executed it fairly well. However, you don't need to go too simple, because we saw that in the EUCS Grand Finals, where Malz and Dignitas, all they did was go for Dragon for the entire game. However, in this game, Dragon might actually not be too bad for ROCCAT to do.
Maybe they take that approach and they're like, we don't have to be SKT, we can just be KT. And if you've been watching LCK, KT is still playing that same 5-dragon style. Very slow game, and they eventually forced it that way. Maybe ROCCAT has a preferential gameplay of going for 5 dragons. Who knows? You see if they can finally break open the mold here, clean that vision. They have one upgraded red sweeper on Airwax. Edward has not upgraded his sweeper yet to level 9 version. Maybe forgot. Maybe he just leveled up. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Maybe it is Crepo. Maybe a kill is in our future as well. That's what I'm looking forward to. Sophia and Betsy just chilling, just going into mid lane. Warded up. Pretty much everyone can see each other on the map right now, so the teams have pretty educated decisions on where they want to move next.
Now there's also a... Hang on, the single on Sophia here. Knock you out. If you don't want to sweep the wards, you can also just prevent people from walking back into the area for 2 minutes 30 seconds, and that also just takes care of most wards already because they just fade. That seems to be the approach ROCCAT are taking here. Split push, Airwax in the bottom. Cabashard can't hold him away. Freddy in the top lane jumps on Kjarnan.
It's actually a lot of damage. Remember, he's building full tank, so he's not going to get to burst off, but they found him once again, and the Dazzle Man locks him down and secures yet another kill for ROCCAT. Oh, Edward being pulled in, but it's Airwax who is just in the base of Vitality, dueling Cabashard. Kasing and Hjarnan have been pushed back here, and now the top tower will go down to ROCCAT.
Yeah, and this was the result of the vision around Baron fading, Vitality trying to get in there, get more wards, and ROCCAT, yeah, they were lost in rotation. They catch him right there. Now they can default backwards to the Baron buff, or to the Baron to get that buff. Airwax can come over with his ultimate if he just finds a tunnel. Bottom right, there's a tunnel available for him. Are they doing Baron without the jungler?
Maybe. Edward just recalling there.
They're actually doing...
Wow. We've seen this in Challenger Series before, actually. We had a jungler who would build Black Cleaver and just split push all day. I believe it was Dan. But Edward coming in here. There's the Dazzle. Chasing him down, but the teleport now coming in as well by Cabashard. Doesn't have the extra movement speed, but will flash into the enemy team. And Freddy taking a bunch of damage, but he still has his passive. Airwax has been locked up, but he's away as well. And ROCCAT get out unscathed with the Baron. Oh, Sophia now heading back to base. Everyone's just going to trade in all of that gold. 5 kills in this game, but the macro game has been so incredibly good by ROCCAT.
I think Nuketalk used Wild Growth. That knocked, I believe it was Freddy backwards, and it put him out of range for Kasing's hook. Very, very interesting interaction. So Kasing was going for a max range hook, but Wild Growth knockback prevented that overall. So that's why Vitality didn't get a single kill. And ROCCAT, 5-0 so far. Pick up the Baron. Don't even need their jungler for it. They're exceeding all expectations, including my own.
Yeah, I think a lot of people's honestly crap out. Now Sophia once again with the package. Has done really well with this, actually. Has gotten multiple summoners and set up multiple kills. Now into the game, may not want to be the only form of engage. Now they have Zac.
You just use it to rotate, man.
Yeah.
You guys, he's like, you guys walk from mid lane to top lane. Filthy casuals. I fly there
in 1 second, man. And it's clearing out this mid lane.
So 1-3-1 being set up. This seems to be the way to, yeah, end all games today with the Baron buff, because it's so early. It's incredibly hard to deal with the Baron buff on one lane. What about 3 at once? Freddy in the top lane, Airwax in the bottom lane. Both have tools to join the fight. Either it's the tunnel or the ultimate. Freddy can walk over and leap or teleport in. And Vitality, what are they going to do against this push? Their wave clear is all magic, except Hjarnan exploding some minions, but that's not enough.
Yeah, it looks like this is going to be an exceptionally good Baron power play as they take down the middle lane, and the bottom tower is also falling to the jungle of Airwax. They're just losing ground all over the board.
We don't even have enough windows to show what's going on. We need another one.
Second tip. Another one.
Another one. Hooks the cannon. Yeah, that's the only way to deal with those super cannons right now. We see Freddy moving to the mid lane. If there's no wards across the wall, the zone that Zac gives you while sieging is enough. And then bot lane breaks open. They can take the inhib, rinse and repeat. The game might very well end in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Man, everything is just falling. And the bottom lane as well is just being slowly chunked away, and Vitality, if they want to stop this, they just have to hard engage, but previously that hasn't gone very well. Airwax not even hooked in, the tunnel was just coming out there, and Kasing was not in time. ROCCAT, you smart, you very smart.
Not gonna do it. No loyal though, all their players left.
Too good, man.
But yeah, I'm getting a little worried about this cannon pick. This is the second time we've seen cannon pick today. Both in the lane swap. It might be an incredibly strong laner, but in the lane swap it seems so slow and only reliant on a teleport flank, and they just seem too predictable right now. Hasn't worked out for either team that chose to use the cannon overall.
Not really. So Shock now going for this blue buff. It's actually just resetting. Edward now coming in, and he will be threatening him. But honestly, that's Tarek pick. The funny thing is, we've been talking about like the dazzle coming in and locking people up. There's one assist in this game.
What?
That being said, that is 20% of the kills has happened in this game, but
Good math.
yeah. Thank you very much, Grappa.
Yeah, I mean, it's his own, right? People are too afraid to even fight him right now.
Fair.
That's the dazzle. It does set up for, okay, all joking aside, if you land the dazzle, it sets up for more follow-up damage, especially the artillery gun that is Betsy right now in the late game. Hjarnan struggling to finish his third item. Betsy already has 3 and has an other like NLR finished, aside from some very expensive boots, so he's just gonna wreak havoc with Airwax.
Hjarnan, actually a lot of damage coming in from Airwax. He's gone for the more amount Mortius, and that alone was enough to chunk Hjarnan out. We'll have to go back to base. Take a look at that Baron play we were talking about earlier, 2,500 actually on the side of ROCCAT, so not too bad.
Yeah, 2.5k, lowest Baron power play of the day, below the summer split average, but honestly it doesn't matter. They got an inhibitor. Probably this low because they already had so much already established on the map, and as you go deeper in the lane for the towers, they get worth less and less and less. So that explains it. They did enough though. They broke up in one lane, they chunked another one, setting up for a second tower here, picking up the base. No juke.
The hooks are just not connecting. But yeah, Kasing just expecting the juke, maybe it doesn't happen, that type of stuff. But still in the bottom lane, when the jungler is dueling the top laner, you have a problem.
Yup, Saphir goes mid. Betsy, you don't want to get near that. Tower drops immediately. Airwax is already on the Nexus tower, skipping a step.
Like Vitality, you have to do something, otherwise you just lose the game right here. Hjarnan gets a little bit of damage onto Betsy, but that's all you can do. 10,000 gold behind right now, and Vitality need to pull the trigger.
So Vitality is gonna speed up and shield Hjarnan. He has to juke the skill shots that come in, do some damage, then Kavashard has the flash ultimate and pray that Freddy somehow gets cancelled in the AoE. That's the only thing he can do. Airwax is split, but Kavashard's gonna deal with him. Just breaking open the base here.
Airwax doesn't actually go for the tower.
Look at top right now.
Now the
flashes the hook.
Just taking everything away. The flash comes away. That was the entire lineup of Vitality responding to the jungler split push. Sophia now just backs away with the rest of the team, taking the tower bit by bit, and ROCCAT are probably just going to close out the game very shortly. Sophia
probably
just
have a lot
to
of
go
gold.
back to base fairly soon because he is out of mana. And there is no package, so he can't get in there super quickly, but the tower goes down. Airwax just took a Nexus turret.
Don't get greedy, right? This is the point where you can still control the game. Look at all the tunnels. And then they base. Just gonna check right now what they're sitting on. Yeah, they have about around 6,000 gold, I believe, to spend here in base. Don't really need it. Just need more mana. Saphira's out of mana. So you have another package. Don't think one is available just yet.
Yeah, soon. ROCCAT just chilling the base and it's like, let's wait for the package for our next play. But not right now.
Styling finish.
Yeah.
Expect a backdoor, the best backdoor of all time? No.
Yeah, the fight happens in like mid lane. It's like, I'm going out, I'm going in, man.
Just splits everybody apart, just like Moses splits the Red Sea. It's like the entire team fight breaks open. I'm going straight into the base.
Yeah. The game-winning play. That's
there
what we want to be ready for this to happen. The package is live.
This entire team pump, the zone from Dazzle, the zone from Freddy's League,
it's all been set up.
It's been an elaborate plan. Saphir picks up the package.
Here we go. See everyone converge on mid lane now and set this play up for Sophia.
Almost like the Mighty Ducks when they go in with a V. Do you even know that movie? Are you old enough for that movie? Okay. Jesus Christ. So the Mighty Ducks, they strike in a V formation, and then the guy from the backside, he slides in between and then just goes in a very nice montage style to finish the game, and they all cheer. Yeah, that is Saphir right now. He's a Mighty Duck.
Luckily, I do know the reference because I know Stress talks about it a lot in the office. So. Before my time, unfortunately. Going for this Baron once again.
I mean, if Kavashard can cancel Airwax and then teleport in, maybe.
Hjarnan, this is kind of the chance, like everyone is kind of stuck in this Baron pit, but Freddy going for this fight, jumps in, there's the flay, knocks him backwards. Hjarnan gets deleted before the fight really begins. Kavashard in the back lines, lots of damage coming in, but it's not quite enough to finalize a kill. Finally gets the kill onto Sophia, and Edward is now dropping low, but it doesn't matter. They pick up the 3 kills onto Vitality. Shook now running away with his tail between his legs, but Freddy now teleporting into this space. This could be curtains for Vitality.
Yeah, good setup. Lantern gets thrown in to teleport into the back line from Kavashard with the home guards, but it's too little too late. By the time he arrives, Hjarnan's already down. Betsy, Freddy, Edward, and Airwax looking to finish the game. No package delivery right now because Saphir is dead.
Yeah, unfortunate, but 20 seconds remaining on Hyana. They can't defend. ROCCAT closing in to close in with the win. The curtain call comes down, and ROCCAT bring this one home. 8-1 in kills, and the first win on the board.
Game went smoother than the celebration.
But honestly, very impressive from
I have
ROCCAT,
to eat my
man.
words, man. Oh.
I think we all do. That was really good from ROCCAT. They showed exceptional macro play as we hopped on about it, but we have to say it was just solid.
Did they though? I'm gonna go home and rewatch the early game, I feel, because I want to know exactly what happened. Because Vitality were the ones making all the plays, and ROCCAT, they were just absorbing it and somehow getting ahead in the gold lead. So they didn't initiate a single play. Not that it's wrong to do, like if it's the right thing to do to just stay back and abuse forced plays, but they somehow got a gold lead and then a beautiful invade from Airwax with the package. Then another really good read on what Vitality was doing, almost too obvious. Down there in the bottom lane at the tier 2, good fight there. Freddy leaping in, the package coming in again, so they did seem to be on the same page overall.
Yeah, at the very least, we can say the reactive play was very good, at least in the early game. But then we did see proactive plays from them. A lot of the kills that happened, a lot of the fight setups were coming in from Sophia's package, or Betsy coming in, literally just engaged by himself on a recall. So they did make proactive plays.
Yeah, and playing that 1-3-1 split push with your jungle in the bottom lane right there, how beautifully as they did, is not that easy. It looks easy when it works. But anybody at any given point can get caught, and you're playing against players that are no slouch. Like, you're playing against Shook, you're playing against Kasing, they can catch you. ROCCAT managed to stay away from that. Beautiful execution. Vitality only got 1 kill in this entire game, and that was in the very last fight on Saphir. So, yeah, fantastic performance.